All right, hello YouTube, what's up? My name's Lee. Welcome to my channel, The Dastardly Batman. And I'm here to review Deadpool and Wolverine. And you know what? I'm not even gonna pretend that I enjoyed this movie that much. Let's just play a fucking clip from this god-awful movie, and then I'll be back to tell you my expanded thoughts after that.
Who's next? Oh my God. Sabretooth, ready to die. Wait. Time!
You look ridiculous. People have waited decades for this fight. It's not gonna be easy. Baby knife, you shoot the double, you take him down. Side control, then full mount, and you ground and pound till he makes no sound because he's dead.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God. Okay, good luck. I'm a huge fan.
Rated R.
All right, yay, that was a clip from Deadpool and Wolverine for those of you who care. So this movie is the new film in the MCU. I believe it's the 34th or the 35th film in the franchise. And it stars, I'm just going to read four here, just the four main ones. At least kind of they're the main ones, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. There's not really much to spoil in this movie, to be real. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Emma Corrin, and Matthew McFadden. And it is directed by Sean Levy, and it's written by Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, Zeb Wells, Sean Levy again. So here we are. This is probably a lot of people's most anticipated movie of the year. I know it definitely became mine. And I'll tell you why it became mine, because, listen, I really like those Fox X-Men movies, at least most of them. There's a couple bad ones in there, but I think the majority of them are really good. I'm a big X-Men fan. I freaking love the X-Men. They're like one of my favorites. I got into superhero stuff because of Batman, Superman, X-Men, Spider-Man. Those are like the four that got me into comic book stuff. And I started getting into more obscure stuff the older I got. And now I'm sitting here in front of you guys reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine while I'm wearing a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt. And I have Wolverine right over here, actually. I got a Gwen Stacy right there. Look, man, I love this stuff. But you know what I also love a lot? Storytelling and actual movies. And this movie's not a movie. Here's the thing. I really love those first two Deadpool movies. I do have a feeling if I rewatch them now, I might like them less. I still think I'll really love Deadpool 2, though. I'll just be honest. I think that is a really great movie. In my opinion, I think it's very funny, and it has like an emotional through line throughout that like the first movie had as well, but I felt like it was stronger in the second. And this one, it doesn't have any of that. It has cameos. Look, man, if you're the type of person who, jacks off to, like, Boss Logic fan art shit and, like, fan castings and all that sort of stuff, you're gonna love this movie. If you're the type of person who's like, oh, look, that thing's there, you're gonna love this. And I'll be real with you, I think the first 25 or so minutes of this movie, I did really, really like. There is a montage of Deadpool in this movie going through different multiverses, and I'm only going to talk about stuff that's like been shown in trailers, by the way. I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody, but there's a really cool moment where Deadpool's going through different multiverses to find a Wolverine. I won't say why or anything like that, because it is important to the very, very slim story that this film has. And every single time he sees a Wolverine, it's a reference to some really, really cool comic book stuff. Some of those comics I've read and really love them, or I've know about. And there's one in particular that I could not, I lost my shit. I was like, I can't believe, well, there's actually two instances during that time that I lost my shit at. And there's one that's like a big comic book reference. For anyone who's read the comics, you'll see it. I can't really say what it is here. I lost my mind. And the other one was like a cameo of an actor, of a different actor playing Wolverine. And I thought that was really cool and really dope. Here's a problem, though. I don't think that actor's ever going to get to seriously play Wolverine. I think it's just a fun little cameo. Watching this movie, it felt like Hugh Jackman is back. I'm talking like back. He's going to be Wolverine in the MCU for the foreseeable future. And that, is fine, I guess. But also, look, if they are planning on recasting Wolverine, they're fucked. Because I feel like nobody, after this movie, like, how are you going to do that? People will riot in the streets, I feel like. Heck, I'll even be upset about it, to be real. So let's talk about the overall movie. I'm trying so hard here. So I was a little nervous with a lot of things going into this movie. Prime number fucking one that I was nervous about was the director, which is Sean Levy. Okay, now he's done some stuff. He did Free Guy, which I fucking hate that movie. Fucking hate that movie. Anyway, he's done some shit that like I either don't like or I fucking loathe entirely. This falls in the I don't like this category. He continues to be a director where I'm like, why does this guy keep getting fucking work? And look, man, whenever I start making my own movies, Sean Levy, feel free to make a video talking trash about it, okay? As a matter of fact, I fucking encourage it, all right? Because I'm about to tear you a new asshole here, man. What do? What is your fucking job, bro? I'm just curious. You're supposed to direct the film. This movie, it doesn't feel like it's been directed at all. Literally, it feels like, I mean, like, anybody could have directed this, because this shit is awful. There's no visual like stylings or anything going on here. There's nothing interesting or engaging going on with any of the camera work. Man, I would say like I liked the action sequences in this, and there is one action sequence I did like, which is the first fight between Deadpool and Wolverine, which they've hinted at in the trailers. And there's like one moment where Wolverine does like this feral like fucking like Wolverine crawl thing that was really cool looking. Other than that, man, the fucking action in this is atrocious. I mean, there's so many times when they're cutting, and I'm like, there's no motivated cuts to the action to emphasize like hits or punches or anything like that. I mean, I'll never forget, man, they're in the heat of this fight, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a shot where it's like it's like a quick shot where they're behind the sign, they're pulling around too, and I'm like, why are you cutting there? I want to see what's going on, man. It's aggravating to watch, and this whole movie is literally just, there's no characters. There's not even really any like edgy jokes the way that they had in Deadpool 1 or 2. I thought Deadpool 1 or 2 had a lot more edgy jokes, and like, look, don't get me wrong, like edgy jokes, they can be really hit and miss for me, especially since I'm not in fucking middle school anymore. But I always thought Deadpool 1 and 2, I thought that they did a good job with the jokes. They made it actually funny, okay? Like that one thing that Deadpool had in Deadpool 2 where he like jerked off into a soap dispenser or whatever. I thought that was like the funniest shit. And I know a lot of people won't think that's funny, but I thought that shit was hilarious. And I'll be real with you, I was kind of getting excited about this because X-Men 97 was so good. It was so good and so perfect. Such a perfect X-Men thing. And to go from that, and hell, even to go from Deadpool 2 to this, like, absolutely fuck off. And you know what? I'm going off the rails here a little bit. I'm swearing a lot and stuff. I don't give a shit. Demonetize this video all you fucking want, YouTube. I'm not even monetized yet anyway, and I don't really give a fuck if I ever do get monetized. I do this for the love of the game, baby. I fucking hate shit. Like, I hate that I'm so worked up and upset about this. I really am. There's stuff that they do in this movie that I personally feel is like insulting to like other movies. It's like a big slap in the face to like the Fox movies. I'm talking like all the Fox movies. I'm talking nothing safe here. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind making jokes about that stuff. But the stuff they do here is not like any good. Hell, they even make a joke. I can't talk about it because it's a spoiler, but man, and they have cameos galore in this movie, but it's not really cameos for anything that I feel like anyone's even going to really care about. There's some stuff that I liked, of course, but they're not X-Men cameos. You know, that's a spoiler, I guess, but like there's a couple X-Men cameos, but like my goodness gracious, look, you know what the best movie to compare this movie to is? It's like The Flash, but if every obnoxious thing about that movie was prefaced by a joke from Deadpool. And like it's one of those movies where it's like, hey, an annoying thing is about to happen, but don't worry, I just made a joke about it. And that's worked for me a couple times in the Deadpool movies, but this is just Deadpool's worst tendencies brought into a movie. Because I feel like that they were able to escape the character's worst tendencies in those first two movies. Those first two movies also remember to have like an actual story and a real plot and actual characters that I cared about. The biggest mistake this movie has is those supporting characters that I love so much from Deadpool 1 and 2, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Peter, those characters, Blind Owl, they're like traded in for Wolverine. And don't get me wrong, I love my boy Wolverine, and I love Hugh Jackman playing my boy Wolverine, and I love that he's in the yellow suit, even if I have like a couple quibbles about like his yellow suit, just like small quibbles. But my problem is, Wolverine doesn't have a fucking character in this movie. He's just there to be pissed, depressed, and to say, shut up, Deadpool. Stop making so many goddamn jokes, you fucking prick. That's it. That's it. There's no characters in this. I wouldn't be surprised if literally this movie was made and Sean Levy said, all right, action. And everyone on the set was like, well, what are we doing? And he was like, I don't know. It's Deadpool. Be funny, I guess. That's the extent that we're working at here, I feel like. And listen, man, I hated Free Guy. I hated so much about that movie. I hated how, especially at the end, it was nonstop, like just references to shit. And here's the thing, if you liked that aspect of Free Guy, I guess you'll fucking love this movie. Like I said, if you watched Multiverse of Madness and you got mad that the quote unquote fan service moments in that were like undercut because fucking Wanda goes sicko mode and murders those fools, then you're gonna love this movie. As a matter of fact, I saw some people outside talking about how there was a couple things that annoyed me from the audience that I overheard them talking about, which was, oh, this is what Multiverse of Madness should have been. Really? Should it have been a bland, boring, generic ass movie with like nothing? There's nothing. This movie's boring, by the way. This movie's fucking boring. That's the thing that kills me. There were multiple instances in this movie where Deadpool made a joke and it was dead silent in the theater. And this is a packed theater full of Marvel heads, by the way. These motherfuckers cheered at the goddamn new Captain America trailer, okay? This is like I just can't believe this movie, man. This isn't even really a review. This is more of a rant. But let me talk about the actual movie. So the villain in this movie is played by Emma Corrin, and she's playing, well, there's really kind of two villains, I guess, and that's Emma Corrin and Matthew Macfadyen. Matthew Macfadyen is playing Mr. Paradox, haha, and Emma Corrin is playing Cassandra Nova. And by the way, if anyone gets on my ass about me spoiling that for them, listen, motherfucker, she's in the trailer, she walks out, she looks like Cassandra Nova. So if you didn't know this, and here's the thing, if you didn't know who Cassandra Nova was before you were going to see this movie, why do you care that I just spoiled it for you when it's in the fucking trailer, okay? Obviously you don't know who Cassandra Nova is if like you saw her in the trailer, which that trailer's been blasted everywhere. But if you saw her walk out in the trailer and you were like, oh, who's that? Who's the villain of the Deadpool movie? You know, like, then, I mean, I guess this movie's made for you then, bro. Go have a fucking good time. So Cassandra Nova does have some really cool shit in this movie. Don't get me wrong, some really cool visual shit. You know, some really interesting stuff. So she's also like powerful as fuck, and I love seeing stuff like that in these movies. But she has the same, she falls into the same trap that a lot of MCU villains have, which is she's terribly written, acted wonderfully, by the way. But she also played Princess Diana on that show, The Crown. My mom watches that. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but I heard she's really great. I think she plays young Princess Diana. I think she's really good in it. It's too bad because her character has nothing at all. She's got some cool visual moments and she's very powerful, but her motivation makes no sense at all. She falls into all the same problems that every single MCU villain has fallen into. She's basically, I would say she's on the level of like Mads Mikkelsen and Doctor Strange, okay? Where it's like you got this incredible actor playing this part and they're like nothing. So, you know, that sucks, man. And I like Cassandra Nova quite a bit. So for me as an X-Men fan, that's super disappointing. She does look cool though. So that's a plus, and she's given a great performance. Hugh Jackman, of course, is fantastic in this movie, but goddamn, man, like, and there's some really dope-ass Wolverine stuff in this movie. There's some really cool Wolverine stuff for fans of Wolverine, and there's some really cool Deadpool moments in this movie, too, for fans of Deadpool. I do like the character Deadpool quite a bit. Oh, one thing is that Deadpool mostly talks in, like, meme language now. At one point, he points to somebody and says, like, let them cook. And he's like, let's take the L. And he goes like, let's fucking go. I love G, blah, blah, blah. It's so... He's just... Honestly, Deadpool in this movie is really annoying. And to be real with you, man, this movie is really awful in a really boring way. If you didn't like those first two Deadpool movies, I feel like you could at least say that, hey, at least they aren't boring. You know what I mean? This is fucking boring, dude. I don't care about anything that's going on. Every time they had like a needle drop in this movie, I rolled my eyes, I've never rolled my eyes at a needle drop in a Deadpool movie before. This whole thing just, it doesn't work, mainly because there's no story here. And to be real with you, they take those characters that I like so much from the first two Deadpool movies, that great supporting cast, you know, his girlfriend Vanessa, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and they cram them in. They all have like maybe, if I'm being generous, maybe 5 minutes of screen time. Now, Peter, played by the fantastic Rob Delaney, who I adore, has more screen time than all the other people from the supporting cast of Deadpool 1 and 2. But even then, I felt like, man, I want more of my dude Peter. And to be real with you, Colossus, if you're a Colossus fan, I guess just bend over and get fucked, because especially if you're a Colossus fan from the first two Deadpool movies, my dude he's got one line, I think. Maybe he didn't have any lines. Ah, man, what a disappointment this is. And the thing is, you know, if you're going to trade in those characters that people like, that I like quite a bit, then you've got to give me something besides, hey, isn't this fun? Isn't multiverse stuff fun? Aren't cameos fun? Isn't this fun? Aren't we having a good time? Deadpool said a swear word. Oh man, Deadpool made a joke about how this thing is really meta and referential. Like, who gives a shit? If I don't care about the characters on the screen, why do I care about what's happening? And I gotta say, listen, I mentioned Multiverse of Madness earlier, and people saying that this is what Multiverse of Madness should have been. A boring, mindless cameo slog of a movie? I gotta be real with you, at least, like, Sam Raimi knows how to direct the fuck out of a movie, and it has some cool ass imagery and stuff. Listen, man, I don't think Multiverse of Madness was very well written, but man, this movie makes it look like goddamn Shakespeare. And you know, people keep saying that this is the best MCU movie since Endgame. A phrase we have been hearing since Endgame came out. Literally, Shang-Chi's the best MCU movie since Endgame. Spider-Man No Way Home is the best MCU movie since Endgame. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the best MCU movie since Endgame, which that actually is true. But anyway, like, the thing is, Multiverse of Madness is the best movie since Endgame. The thing about it is, Marvel isn't really at a low point when it comes to the quality of their movies. As a matter of fact, I think Deadpool Wolverine is up there in quality with their movies, okay? Like, this is about, like, the quality of what their movies are. Most of their movies are not that good, okay? There's standouts for sure, like the first Avengers, like the Guardians movies, like the two Doctor Strange movies. There's exceptions to be had, okay? Overall, Marvel is just kind of blah. And, you know, there's a moment in this movie, it's during the credits, I mean, and this shouldn't be considered a spoiler, where they play a sizzle reel from previous X-Men movies, and it's like behind the scenes stuff along with like some other scenes, and it's like previous Fox movies and stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, it made me realize, we're never going to get real movies with those characters again. You know, they care about the story and stuff. This is what it's going to be for the most part from now on. And now it's making me realize that I think X-Men 97 is like an oddity because it's not connected to the MCU. They could kind of do whatever they wanted to do with that show because it's a continuation from an already established cartoon, so they had to keep it in line with that. But also because it's not attached to the MCU in any kind of meaningful way, it doesn't impact their whole whatever the fuck they're doing. They were allowed to do kind of whatever they wanted and follow like actual X-Men comics, which this movie has references to, don't get me wrong, but X-Men 97 is so good that, like, honestly, I don't think I'm excited for any sort of live action X-Men effort from the MCU. I gotta be real with you, because I don't think the MCU is gonna understand the X-Men. I don't think they're gonna be willing to go as far with anything like those other, like, original X-Men movies did, those live-action X-Men movies. I know we like to knock on them because the costumes, like, are like black leather stuff or whatever. They never got them accurate or anything. But let's be real, the stories for a lot of those movies, like X-Men 1, 2, First Class, Days of Future Past, The Wolverine, Logan, are like really good and really impactful and actually, you know, are real stories being told with characters that people also love a lot. And they actually understood the X-Men. The X-Men have always kind of been the fringe group. They're the ones who are like the actual human rights activists, the ones who are actually like trying to make the world better. And in the comics, the Avengers have always kind of been like the cops, right? I gotta be real with you. I think like Disney is gonna just turn the X-Men into another Avengers-like team. And they're gonna cut out a lot of that like stuff that's like more, that's gonna be considered woke. You know, and that's another thing that pissed me off with like some stuff people were saying when this movie was over, was they were like, at least this wasn't woke. Whatever the fuck that means. Why are you walking out of an X-Men movie even saying something like that? And don't get me wrong, like, this is Deadpool and Wolverine, sure, it doesn't say X-Men on it, but these are X-Men characters. So people walking out of your movie saying that, I feel like, is a failure. So, anyway, and there's some fucking bullshit-ass cameos in this. It's some shit that's just a joke and a jab and a prod at a studio that got absorbed by Disney so they could keep pumping out movies that fucking suck like this. Anyway, tons of people lost their job at 20th Century Fox so that Disney could make movies like this. Just think about that for a second. When you watch this movie and you realize how many people lost jobs because Disney bought a studio just so they could start making movies like this fucking bullshit. For me personally, as someone who like loves like movies and film just as much as I love comic books, by the way, like, I have a lot of love and admiration for these characters. Fuck, man, I have a whole video. My last video was like an hour and a half of me playing Marvel Rivals, man. A game I love. I love that. I can't wait for the official release of that game. So anyway, this has been more of a rant than a review, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to give Deadpool Wolverine a movie that, honestly, I think would be the worst movie of the year for me if I hadn't seen The Strangers Chapter 1. I'm going to give it a very, very generous 2 stars out of 5. And the reason it gets those 2 stars is because there are a couple jokes I laughed at, and man, that suit on Hugh Jackman looks so good. And I am glad that Hugh's back. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, of course. I think the performances are all good from everybody. And I did really like the first 20 or 30 minutes of this, and I did love that little montage when Deadpool is trying to find a Wolverine to bring into the movie. That was just so cool getting to see some of those images in live action. And to be real with you, I don't think we'll ever see images that cool in a live action X-Men thing ever again, because I don't think Disney gives a shit about that stuff ultimately. They just care about making money. And that sucks. So anyway, guys, that's been my review for Deadpool Wolverine. You know, make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video. Subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. And I also do stream on Twitch. I didn't stream this one on Twitch because I got home a little later. I got home at around midnight. But I usually do stream my movie reviews over on twitch.tv/thedastardLeebatman. And of course, I play video games there as well. And all my unedited VODs and stuff, and probably this review unedited, will go up over on my channel, Blended Caramel. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this review, aka rant, of Deadpool and Wolverine. I really struggled with watching this, to be honest, because there's a lot of stuff that I was started to like, and then it would immediately be undercut by some absolute bullshit. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. Hopefully the next movie I see, which I believe is going to be M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, or I might go see this vampire movie over at the Belcourt Theater, and I might review that if I like it a lot. Or want to bring attention to it in some kind of way. So my next movie review will be for Trap, and I'm going to have some more videos on Marvel Rivals, as well as like some other stuff. I got a new mouse that I got to set up. I can start playing Doom 2016 again. This other mouse I had, my Gears 5 mouse that I love so much, has started acting up on me. So I'll be able to start playing Doom again on mouse and keyboard and everything. So anyway, yeah, that's it from me. Peace.